Hello there. So this is this week's roundup, I suppose, of Raw. Now you will be saying, what about last week's roundup, Sarah? Well, yes, I'm going to be honest, it was a combination of forgetting to get round to doing it and life getting in the way. So I'm going to jump straight in with this week. What I will do though is put a link to my blog. I did manage to actually somehow find the time to blog about Raw and SmackDown last week. So I'll include those links in the description below. It will have to be once I've got onto my PC to do that though, so you might actually end up seeing this before the blog links go in. If that's the case, check back later on and see them. It's definitely worth doing, or at least go to my Twitter account, either at Miss Critch, it's all in the description as usual, or at Sarah Harding 86, because I have my blogs automatically posted to those Twitter accounts, so you might be able to go back through on my profile and find them. Enough nonsense. So this week's Raw was the Go Home Show. Now, a Go Home Show for the uninitiated is basically it's the TV show before before a pay-per-view. This coming Sunday we've got Money in the Bank, in case you've been living under a rock, and so this is the Raw Go Home Show. Like the next night would be the SmackDown Live Go Home Show, so on and so forth. This was a bit of a weird beginning to this show because all of the superstars who were taking place in the Money in the Bank ladder matches, so that's the men's and the women's, started the show in the ring but up ladders of varying heights as well. It was all a bit surreal and weird, and they stood up there for an uncomfortably long time before anyone got the opportunity to speak while the theme music was playing. Well, they were up there. Kurt Angle's music hits, out he comes. Alongside him is his constable, Baron Corbin. Now, before I go any further about this segment, what I'd like to point out is that Baron Corbin has had a shock makeover, and I think it really suits him. He's finally had that terrible straggly hair completely shaved off. I've been saying it for months. He should have had that done a long time ago. He was going incredibly thin on top, and this is a great look for him, especially with his new role as Constable of Raw, because he actually appears menacing. He feels like a proper heel just from the way he looks. So I'm really approving of this look. Back to the weird ladders. The women started having an argument, then the men started having an argument, then the women started having an argument. So Kurt Angle and Baron Corbin jumped in and said, that's enough, fatal four-ways for the lot of you. So that's how we kicked off the show. That was the first match that we had. It was fatal four-way between Natalya, Sasha Banks, Alexa Bliss and Ember Moon. Those are the four women from Raw that are going into the Money in the Bank on Sunday. Every woman got to hit their strongest moves. We saw Ember Moon with her Eclipse. We saw Sasha Banks trying to lock in the bank statement, Twisted Bliss, all of these things. But Natalya was the big one. Now, it's been hard to get invested in Natalya as a possible winner, or what the threat might be, until last week, when she picked up an injury fighting Nia Jax. It was an injury to her knee. She needed to be helped out of the ring at the time by her friend Ronda Rousey, which is a whole other story. And the result was she was still carrying a niggle. That's the story. And this put in a threat because her submission move, the sharpshooter, relies on her being able to wrap her legs around her opponent. Could she lock in the sharpshooter? And, if she could, what kind of lasting damage would that do going into Sunday? Well, she attempted it a couple of times, didn't quite make it, but then the match did actually go to Natalya. She managed to get Little Miss Bliss to tap out to the sharpshooter. But at what cost? We will find out at Money in the Bank. We had a bit of a weird match. There's this feud that's been going on between Roman Reigns and Jinder Mahal. Jinder Mahal called out Roman Reigns on Twitter and said that he wanted to have a match against him on this week's Raw, which the big dog dutifully agreed to. However, what wasn't made clear was that Jinder Mahal actually wasn't trying to set up a match for himself. He was trying to set up a match between Roman Reigns and Sunil Singh. Yes, the little fella that comes out and announces Jinder Mahal. He quite often does quite a few of the stunts and things like that. He gets thrown in the way of the big dog and stuff like that. That's really what the Singh brothers are there for, when they're both fit, that is, of course. And of course his brother's been out with an injury for quite some time. And this was no exception. Jinder Mahal did an amazing job of trying to big up Singh and saying that he was capable of fighting Big Dog. Only the Big Dog grabbed him round the throat, threw him to the ground, hit him with a Superman punch, one spear, match over. Were you expecting any more? No. However, before the Big Dog's music could actually hit properly, Jinder Mahal ended up coming and attacking him. Now, what you need to know about go-home shows is they're sometimes an indicator of what's going to happen in the pay-per-view. quite often you can tell from the results what the actual result on Sunday is going to be. And quite often, if somebody loses before a pay-per-view, it's to create some kind of tension. Can they beat their opponent at the weekend? And then they go on to beat them. I'd say about 9 times out of 10 you can pretty much predict the result of a pay-per-view match based on what happened in the go-home show before. Now, although Roman Reigns beat Singh, the match on Sunday isn't between Roman Reigns and Singh, it's between Roman Reigns and Jinder Mahal, which means Jinder Mahal kind of picked up the win in this case. So, on Sunday, my prediction, I'm going to give you some predictions throughout this one, I think. Roman Reigns is going to beat Jinder Mahal. It also makes him look strong, and I have a prediction that come SummerSlam, he's probably going to be in the Universal title fray again. Whoever else might be involved, I'm not sure. And of course Money in the Bank might mix things up a little bit as far as that's concerned. However, I can see Roman Reigns being in the mix somewhere. So, that's the kind of bubbling under the surface Universal title stuff, as Brock Lesnar, surprise surprise, is not at Money in the Bank. Someone who is at the bank, Money in the Bank, and defending their title is the Intercontinental Champion, Seth Rollins. And his opponent, as we all know, is Elias. That was set up a couple of weeks ago when Elias smacked him across the back with a guitar. Now, this week, Elias gets his usual announcement from JoJo and probably performed his greatest song yet. It was brilliant. Not only did he, of course, take the mickey out of Arkansas, which is where Raw was from this week, he also included lines about Seth Rollins having confusing nicknames because as the architect, how can he tell everyone to burn it down? And proceeded to say that because he does CrossFit, he must be a tool. I'm direct quoting. As you know, I love Seth Rollins. He's my favourite wrestler on the roster right now. I'm not just jumping on a bandwagon here. I've thought this for a while. He is superb. And definitely the face of WWE right now, right? Okay, so we've established that. But I've got to say, Elias' song had me in stitches. It was brilliant. I don't care what he was saying about Seth. It was funny. Absolutely brilliant. He then decided to show off his new custom guitar, which he's had airbrushed with an image of the Intercontinental title. A bit presumptuous. And this forced the Kingslayer to come out, and he went into the ring, and Elias decided to run away, but he abandoned his beloved new airbrushed guitar. Seth Rollins decided he was going to try and auction it off as a kind of charity auction deal, and then he decided that because Elias was begging for the guitar to be left alone, he would lay it down in the middle of the ring. And then encouraged everyone to chant "burn it down." And then he curb stomped the guitar. I know it's called a blackout stomp, I know that's what Vince wants it called. It's not, it's a curb stomp, let's be honest. Yeah, he curb stomped the guitar. This couldn't have been done better. It would have hurt Elias way more to see his beloved guitar get stomped than to actually be stomped himself. And is this perhaps a sign of things to come on Sunday? I don't know. I mean, like I say, these go-home shows, sometimes they're a predictor, but I don't know. I don't know with this one. And I love Seth Rollins, and I think Elias is brilliant, and whatever the result, I think it's going to be an amazing match. I think it's been undersold by WWE till now, which probably means it's going to be the best match at the pay-per-view, and I'm really looking forward to it, I'm not going to lie. Bayley and Ruby Riott. This was a good one. Now, this could have just been a mid-card match that was nothing, you know, this is the one where you go to the loo and get your drinks. However, I've got to say, both of them sold it really well. They're brilliant technical wrestlers, the pair of them. You can see why Ruby Riott was asked to head up a faction. She's great. She just is, okay? She's way better than Morgan and Logan. I'm putting it out there now. And that's why she's the leader. Bayley, of course, absolutely brilliant, former women's champion. Really interesting technical match, exciting to watch. Really, really good. Of course, the other members of Riot Squad got involved, and that's how Ruby Riott picked up the pin. But then what happened next was brilliant. Liv Morgan and Sarah Logan get in the ring. They pin Bayley down. Ruby Riott took out a stick of her trademark black lipstick, and she started drawing all over Bayley's face, but then she branded her victim with an R on her stomach. It was brilliant. It was so evocative of the NWO in the 90s. They used to get their black spray paint out and like brand their victims with NWO. I really think Ruby Riott and the others need to keep doing this. It was a brilliant move. It was absolutely fantastic. And if they're going to be such a dominant faction in WWE, this needs to happen. I wouldn't even mind if more women joined Riot Squad and we had a little bit of an NWO revival through the Riot Squad. That would be good. I'd be down with that, and I think that would be great for the women to get involved with. How brutal would that be? Now that's a women's revolution. There was a promotion between Nia Jax and Ronda Rousey. Now, I do like Ronda Rousey. She's brilliant, and congratulations, first of all, to her. She's being inducted into the UFC Hall of Fame. That's amazing. What a feat. What an amazing, amazing thing for women's sport to have someone as brilliant as Ronda Rousey get inducted into the Hall of Fame. And this is why I'm angry on her behalf, because I don't think WWE are using her properly. Does she deserve this title match? No. She's had one match. It was a mixed tag at WrestleMania. She's done no fighting otherwise. She turns up more regularly now in Raw, which is great. I'm glad we're seeing more of her. But really, come on. These promos have been painful because both of them are better at... both of them are better when they're in the ring than when they're on the mic. Both of them. Nia Jax is a brilliant wrestler. I know some people have said otherwise, but actually I think she is when she's given the opportunity to show what she can do. And Ronda Rousey, we know she's good. We've seen her. So why not make better use of her and put her in some matches? That would have been way, way better than what we've had so far. Coach was presiding over everything, and it basically ended with Nia Jax headbutting Ronda Rousey and then Ronda Rousey locking in the armbar. Sort of. She didn't quite lock it in the way she would have liked it. They were not horizontal. So it's still leaving a little bit of tension there, a little bit, who's going to have the win here. I'd like Nia Jax to retain so that Ronda Rousey can have some matches and build up to this. That would be classier. But we'll see what WWE choose to do with this. No Way Jose beat Kurt Hawkins. Kurt Hawkins decided to join the conga line and attack from behind. This was a brilliant use of Kurt Hawkins. I thoroughly agree with that. And yeah, okay, it helps with some cheap wins, but it's brilliant. It was great. 201 losses and counting. Sami Zayn and Bobby Lashley is still just as weird as ever. Sami Zayn set up an obstacle course for Bobby Lashley, hoping that he wouldn't be able to do it and therefore prove he was never in the army. Of course he did it in about 40 seconds. And that left Sami Zayn open to attack Bobby Lashley. Come Sunday, they have a match. The feud is over. Thank goodness for that. That's what I'm looking forward to. And the main event is Fatal 4-Way between Strowman, Kevin Owens, Balor and Bobby Roode. And Kevin Owens spent most of the night trying to get the others to help him gang up on Braun Strowman, which worked to a certain extent when he did a frog splash off a ladder through the announce table, taking Braun Strowman with him. It was brilliant. This left the other two in the ring to do all their technical stuff. Of course, they're brilliant technical wrestlers, Roode and Balor. And, but of course, Strowman managed to power on through, got hit with every finisher going from the others, but then managed to do a running power slam on Kevin Owens and picked up the pinfall. So we'll see what happens on Sunday with Money in the Bank. I will do tomorrow SmackDown's one, I promise. And I will put links in the description later on tonight, I promise. Until then, bye bye.